welcome back to the Steep. What's today's date? I think we've been off for 2 weeks, and, we came back with a great topic for today. We have, I believe it's called Bernie Sanders versus the minimum wage. We actually didn't come up with this. It was in the Washington Post this summer. Some of you may have seen it. The title in the Washington Post reads, Bernie Sanders runs into socialist reality. What's this about? Well, what happened was, as you know, everybody knows Bernie would like to be president. And he would also like everyone in America to have an increase in the minimum wage, and for that to be $15 an hour. The only problem was some people working for his campaign realized they were only making $13 an hour, while he was promising everyone in America $15 an hour. And so, Bernie made the proper adjustment, and he made sure that all his people were making $15 an hour. He adjusted things. The only problem is he cut their hours to do so, which, of course, decreases productivity. So that's what the article's talking about. Bernie Sanders runs into socialist reality. But for our purposes on Christian worldview, we want to point out he actually ran into not just math, not just logic. He ran into his own finiteness, that when you treat the government as like this infinite resource to just shower down blessings and meet everyone's needs and bring us all into a utopia, where at the end of each day, as Lewis said, it could be said, and a good time was had by all. You run into a problem. You run into finiteness. You see, the thing I would say is, why is $15 an hour the minimum wage? Why not pay everybody $30 an hour? Give them a real livable income. And while we're at it, why not everyone in America make $100,000 a year? Why not everyone be millionaires? Wouldn't that be a happy place? Bernie is constricted by numbers. He's constricted because he's a creature. He can't meet everyone's needs, and so he had to cut it down. And so the worldview lesson here is simply that in the scriptures, God is described as rich in mercy, rich in love, rich in goodness, rich in grace. Paul says that, the riches of his grace. From him, through him, and to him are all things. So what we all have here is a lesson. When the government is treated, it's a great gift, right, but a terrible God. So when the government gets treated as God, gets looked to supply literally everything, we run into what Bernie ran into. So what Bernie ran into was not the socialist reality. Ultimately, what he ran into was Bernie, that Bernie is a creature. You and I are creatures, and we're not the source of everything, which is to say we ran into God. And that is the goodness of talking about this, bringing it up in the public square. The minimum wage issue literally takes you to God. And so what we should all do is hope in him and not the government to meet all our needs. So that's it for this week. We'll see what comes up next week. We don't actually have one scheduled, but I'm sure it'll be as exciting as this one. So we hope you'll join us. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.